What's up, beautiful people? Welcome into a fantastic Friday edition of CBS Sports HQ. I am Chris Williamson. He is the one and only Hakeem Demerson. We're honored to be your co-pilots for the next hour. We've got a bevy of entertainment options to offer you, including Penn State football team finally finding their new head coach. But number one on the list, conference titles up for grabs.
A spot in the college football playoff on the line in the American Championship. It's the Mean Green against the Green Wave. Someone will be green with envy. We're in the Big Easy. Here we go. Battle for the American Championship. North Texas head coach Eric Morris, he's heading to Oklahoma State. Tulane's head coach John Sumrall, he's going to Florida. Both sticking around to finish the job they started. 35 seconds left in the first quarter. Tulane down 7-0. Fourth and goal. Jake Retzloff fakes the handoff. Psych, he's in, and we're tied at 7. Ensuing North Texas possession. Drew Mestemaker connects with Caleb Hawkins. And Hawkins gets popped, ball knocked loose. Tulane's L.J. Green recovers, takes it back to the North Texas 37. Concerning moment there. Hawkins shaking him up on the play. Did not return. FBS leader in rushing touchdowns with 23. Huge loss there for North Texas. Tulane keeps on rolling. Jamori McClure in for 6, up 14-7. Had just one rushing touchdown in the regular season. Under a minute left in the first half. Ball hits off of Baron Tipton. Doesn't see it. Jack Chenchu grabs the live football, and Tulane recovers. What a turn of events. Green Wave looking to capitalize. Later in the drive, fourth and goal, Retzloff. He's in. Second rushing touchdown of the game. Tulane up 24-7 at the half. 3 for 3 on fourth down in the first half. Mid-third, North Texas still down 24-7. Mestemaker hits off of Wyatt Young's hands. Chris Rogers, pick six. Mestemaker tries to make the tackle, called a touchdown on the field. Mestemaker looks like he knocked the ball out before Rogers broke the plane, but call is upheld. It's a touchdown. Tulane 21 points off of 3 North Texas turnovers, and in the end, it's 5 turnovers because North Texas was driving late and Drew Mestemaker tossed an interception into the end zone to seal the deal. They picked off Mestemaker 3 times in this game. He only had one game in the regular season where he threw 3 picks. Led FBS in passing yards. North Texas, one of the best offenses in all the nation. Led the nation in yards per game. But it is Tulane who forces 5 turnovers, gets 5 sacks to win the American Championship and clinch a spot in the college football playoff. Get right to the site. Welcome to CBS Sports college football analyst Lige Douzable, who joins us from Ullman Stadium. And Lige, you watched a heck of a game. You were able to see what Tulane can do defensively. I know you love this as a former defensive lineman. They were able to get 5 sacks and 5 turnovers. That was the difference in this game.
Without a doubt, Hakeem, it was the physicality of this Tulane defensive front, which was a matchup that I was eyeing going into this game. Texas had one of the better offensive lines in the American Conference. But you talked about it. That D-line was stifling. They got after Drew Mestemaker, who is a redshirt freshman, right? Hasn't really been in this scenario. They changed the look on him post-snap a lot, too, which confused him. You talked about those 5 turnovers. One was on a muff punt. Probably should have been fair catch interference. And then you talked about the other one, right? Chris Rogers gets an interception. Looks like he may have fumbled that ball going into the end zone. So that's a 14-point swing that could have went in favor of North Texas, went the opposite way. Too many self-inflicted wounds, but they lost the physical battle tonight.
When you look at what John Sumrall has been able to build there at Tulane, and we know that he's now going to Florida, what's your takeaway from the season they put together as they cap it with an American Conference Championship and are going to have a chance now to play in the college football playoff?
Well, Hakeem, I had the pleasure of talking to John Sumrall yesterday, and he said, "Dudes, you know, it's important how you leave a place. More important than where you're going, right?" So he wanted to finish this thing the right way. That was the message all week long. Finish the job. You got to remember, a lot of these defensive players were on this team last year when they went to the American Conference Championship and got embarrassed by Army. They didn't want to repeat a performance. They were locked into this game. I know with all the hoopla of John Sumrall going to Florida, a lot of people were wondering where they're focused, man. When I talked to their linebacker, Sam Howard, I haven't seen a more focused player in college football than he was this week. This defense was locked in, and they did not want to get embarrassed like they did last year. So you have to say kudos to John Sumrall because he's juggled so much the last weeks or so, right? 2 recruiting classes, one here at Tulane, one at Florida. He's been going back and forth, but he was locked in when I talked to him yesterday for this game. He talked about finishing the job. That was the message, and they did that today.
Finish the job indeed as they clinch a spot in the college football playoff. And what's interesting here is the fact that Tulane could end up as the 11 seed, Lige, which right now would match them up against who? Ole Miss, who they got crushed by earlier in the season, 45-10. And it's interesting because Lane Kiffin won't be there, but John Summerall will be as the head coach of Tulane, who will eventually be the head coach at Florida. So and I know he played at Kentucky, so this is in his first SEC game. And now he's going to face Ole Miss potentially again for the second time this season. What do you think about how this might play out?
This would be a storybook, movie type thing, right? When you look at it, poetic justice. You talked about our team. They got embarrassed by Ole Miss earlier this year. This is a game that they usually play not every year, but maybe every other year. And I remember vividly 2 years ago, Tulane was going back and forth with Ole Miss and almost pulled the upset. So that's a game that they look at on the schedule and said, man, we got embarrassed. If we could have one more opportunity at these guys, I know that they would relish in that opportunity, especially talking to quarterback Jake Retzlaff. He's a guy that's played in big games, going back to his experience at BYU. So just imagine him being able to right that ship because they really struggled versus Ole Miss. They're able to play them. And to your point, Lane Kiffin won't be there. Charlie Wise, the offensive coordinator, is coming back to call the offense for Ole Miss, but not having that head coach there could be maybe something that bodes well for Tulane if that is the matchup. But again, for that to happen, Duke would have to win the ACC championship game.
Absolutely. If Duke were to win the ACC championship, that would give JMU the 12 seed. That would give Tulane the 11 seed. It would be absolutely bonkers, which I'm here for. We love the chaos. Lige Douzable with us here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, sir. Appreciate Lige talking ball, getting to hang out with him for a couple of minutes here on HQ. And we love it. We love it because every game matters. As we mentioned, 7-5 Duke finds itself in the ACC championship against Virginia. A regular season rematch. Cavs beat the Blue Devils by 17 in mid-November. SEC title game, Georgia against Alabama. Crimson Tide beat the Dogs by 3 points in September. Big Ten title game, 1 versus 2. Ohio State against Indiana. And we've got another regular season rematch for the Big 12 title. Texas Tech against BYU. Red Raiders beat the Cougars 29-7 in early November. We will have complete highlights and post-game coverage right here on CBS Sports HQ.